welcome everyone to episode 14 of Around the Book. This week we're going to be going over week, is it 13 in the NFL? And then I guess you could say week 14 in college, but championship weekend for all the conference championship games. It's going to be a good weekend. I'm kind of happy that we get that Washington-Oregon game on Friday, like a nice little start to the weekend. Nice 8 o'clock game. So I'm excited for that. How did everyone's weekends go? Anyone got anything you want to talk about in particular?
I mean, it was a mixed bag. I went 2-2 on the week, and then both my parlays missed. But my college football parlay, I did all underdogs, and I only missed by half a point with Houston losing by 14. I thought they'd cover the 13.5. So I was this close to getting that 5-leg parlay, and it just slipped through my fingers.
Yeah.
So Houston fired their coach as a result for me missing my parlay. Well deserved.
I think it was because of this. He heard your bet and was like, the guy's got to go.
So I'm saying they should have covered. Only a bad coach would not cover.
Exactly. Anyone else? Any gloating or sadness from anyone?
Well, I'm pretty excited. I finished the regular season 14-12 in college football. Thanks in large part to that Iowa game. Hit both my Iowa picks. I said it on the show last week. 13-10 Iowa. 13-10 Iowa. It happened. Iowa money line hits and the under hits. I'm up to finish the regular season. I'm up 7.33 units. And I'm sure by the end of bowl season, I'll be breaking even. But
yeah,
now it's going great.
You gave yourself a good buffer at 7 units.
And I'm going to blow it all on random bowls between Temple and SMU and Boise State, Arkansas. I don't even know if Arkansas is bowl eligible. I couldn't tell you.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so, yeah.
I just tried to come up with a random 6-win SEC team.
Their quarterback just hit the transfer portal, so that was
every quarterback hit the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Duke Riley or Riley Leonard.
I feel like half of the top 10 quarterback prospects for the 2024 class are all in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Because apparently Cam Ward also might be going to the portal too.
Maybe Ohio State should look into that a little bit. Get himself a quarterback.
Everyone should be going after Cam Ward.
We wouldn't want that for Cam Ward. We want him to go to a good team.
No,
Riley,
you had
him though. Everything about him says Notre Dame.
I will say I am excited that I still finished with positive units in college football after going to 9-17. I think that's pretty impressive if you ask me.
Shot.
Yeah. Plus 0.9 units. So I'll take it. In NFL, I went up a lot. So I went 2-0 for the first time in what seems like forever. I don't even know if I went 2-0 in the NFL. So I caught up there a little bit. So I'm excited about that. Ohio State lost. I'm sad about that.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
I cursed him.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah. I'm not going to say you did, Jake, but you did.
I put my awful college record on the line, and it did not come through.
It's all right. At the end of the show, I'll tell you guys how they get in. To the playoffs still. But let's go ahead and get into it. We'll do college, our championship, what we think is going to happen this weekend. I will start out with my lock. I have Louisville plus 2.5 for my lock, and that's actually a plus 100. FSU's on their backup quarterback. Now, Louisville did lose to Kentucky last weekend, which I was shocked at. So I would like needing a bounce back game. They're going to take revenge on FSU for this, and I think FSU is going to be able to handle it with the backup quarterback. So I think Louisville will win outright, but I'll take the points at plus 2.5, and especially at plus 100. I'll lock that in all day. And then my underdog, I got Washington money line at plus 280. I don't know how it's this much. I know like Dalton, you were talking about it. They have plus 9.5 on the spread.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
they beat Oregon last time. I know it was only a 3-point win, but like they still beat Oregon. Oregon has improved since that game, and Washington's had a few more close calls since then. So I could see why they might think Washington might be an underdog here, but I don't think plus 280. I think that's too much, so I had to jump on that. I think Washington squeaks out another close one, maybe another 3-point game. So I have them winning this one, and those are my underdog and my lock for the week.
That first game between Washington and Oregon, that was in Washington, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be a difference in this game, too, being on a neutral field. Washington's had some clunkers since that game. Oregon's looks dominant. So I get them being favored, but that is a wide spread, almost 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting. I'm afraid of money line. I'd consider the points, but, man, Oregon is just cooking right now. More importantly, for my purposes, that's probably the game that decides the Heisman. I mean, Penix versus Nix, those are kind of two of the top three, and then Jane Daniels isn't playing this week. So you're looking for a big Heisman moment. That's the game to watch this weekend.
Yeah. One of them would have to like really ball out because right now I think Daniels has it, in my opinion. But if one of them have a big weekend, I think they could push for that number one spot.
And then you've got the team that everyone is rooting for this week in Louisville. I mean, college football playoffs do not want any piece of Florida State winning. There's so much talk about like one win Texas jumping them, but how do you put an undefeated ACC championship out? I mean, there's no way to do it, but everyone knows without their quarterback, they're a different team. So everyone's going to be watching that game, just crossing their fingers like Louisville.
Yeah, and which sucks because at the beginning of the year when we did our college futures, I had FSU to make the college playoffs. So, like, deep down, I do want them to win, but I just think Louisville – I don't know. I got to think strategically about this one and not with my heart.
Yeah, I think it's a smart bet. I mean, it's hard to bet on Florida State. You just don't know what they have without their quarterback. You can't replace someone like that. All right, I will jump into mine for now. I'm going my lock of the week. I'm going with Texas minus 14.5, and the odds on that are minus 112. So Texas is sitting at 6 in the rankings, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. I think they're at 7. I think they're right behind Ohio State. They need
7.
Yeah, they need a dominant performance to have a chance to make the playoffs. They're going to hop Ohio State because Ohio State isn't playing this weekend. They're going to hop the loser of Washington, Oregon, and they need to convince the world that they're better than Florida State, even though Florida State's undefeated. And they've got to drop a bomb on Oklahoma State, like 40-point win to really make that argument. So I think they're going to come out, try and put on an absolute show. Oklahoma State's a bit one-dimensional running the ball. I think Texas is just going to do everything in their power to annihilate this team. One of those leave no doubt kind of games. Then my underdog, I'm going a little bit off book with this one. We got so many big matchups: Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Iowa, Oregon, Washington. So, of course, I'm taking it to Appalachian State at Troy. App State plus 6.5. And App State is playing some really good ball right now. You go back to their last loss, which was a month and a half ago. Since then, double-digit win, double-digit win, double-digit win, overtime win versus an undefeated James Madison team, and they just doubled up Georgia Southern. So them getting points against a good Troy team, that's going to be a dogfight of a game. I'm really looking forward to it. App State is playing some of the best ball in the country right now, and I don't feel bad about the money line on this one. I think if you're feeling bold, take the money line, because I think these are two equal teams. And if you're giving me 6.5, I'm going to take that all day.
All right. And then, Jake, I think you're up.
That
Yeah, I
feels
know
weird.
the order's a little mixed
I know.
up this week. I don't know why it did that.
We shuffled our squares.
I don't like it over here. I like my other corner.
Yeah.
All right. Feels weird going third, but for my lock this week, I'm going with Washington plus 9.5. We kind of talked about this earlier, and I do understand Oregon being favored in this game. They played a hell of a game last time. It was very close. And it was at Washington. So the neutral site, it might be a little different, but with how good Washington's offense is, even though they have stuttered some in the past couple of weeks, I'm pretty confident they could lose this game by a touchdown, which would cover. That's my favorite game of this week, but I think Washington's going to be able to cover there. And then for my underdog, I'm going to go with Alabama money line at plus 180 against Georgia. This is going to be a tough game for Alabama. I'm kind of just going with this pick for the vibes, but I think this game's going to be close either way. It's going to be a really good one. It's decent odds for what's going to be a close game. Nick Saban has won plenty of big games in his career, so I think for a game that's going to be close, plus 180 is pretty solid. So we're going to go with Alabama for my underdog.
Yeah. Yeah, I took that Washington plus 9.5 as well separately, so you just could not bet on that. That was crazy.
I had to.
That is also my lock this week. Washington plus 9.5. I mean, it is ironclad. And I really do think Oregon's going to win this game, but it's going to be close. I think this is a matchup of the third and fourth best teams in the country right now. I think they're both getting into the playoff. And I'll explain that in a second, how that's going to happen. I think they're both getting in what's going to be a tough game. But, yeah, I like Oregon to win this. And I do think right now the Heisman is down to Penix and Nix. And I think this is going to be Bo Nix's Heisman game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring quarterback duel. And I like Oregon to win a close one, probably by a touchdown. But Washington should cover, no problem. So I like Oregon. Both teams are making the playoff because, well, I think Florida State's losing this week. Because my underdog pick this week is Louisville money line at plus 114. Florida State, I mean, anyone that's watched them all year knows. Even with Travis Hunter, they're just not. They don't look like a team that's going to go 13-0. I mean, that's really hard to do in any Power 5 conference. 13-0 is just so hard. It takes a truly special team to go undefeated in college football, and I don't think Florida State's that team, especially playing with a backup quarterback now. I think Louisville might be the toughest team they've played all year. I think they might be better than LSU. They're at least more well-rounded than LSU. So yeah, I think that's the Florida State. I think is the most upset-prone team this week out of them, Georgia, and Michigan. I think they're the most upset-prone. I think Washington and Oregon are like a pick 'em, but Florida State, they're going down this week. They're losing. The committee can all breathe a sigh of relief. They won't have to put them in. They'll probably drop to 5 or 6 when it's all said and done. But yeah, Louisville money line is my underdog this week.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. The Washington game scares me now that we're all talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, are they about to lose by 3 touchdowns?
It's one of those things where it feels like Vegas knows something you don't.
Yeah, dude.
But
I know. It's like it almost seems like free money. And I hate saying that, but it does seem like it. All right. Let's move on to the NFL. Okay. So I'm going to do my lock of the week first. I'm going with the 49ers minus 2.5 against the Eagles at minus 118. The 49ers, obviously no bias here. This is a revenge game. We're tired. I'm tired of the freaking Eagles fans, dude. If there's an Eagles fan watching this or will ever watch this, I hate you and all of your guys' fan base. You guys suck. I hope we run it down their freaking throats. But saying that, the Eagles are finding ways to win, which is pissing me off because I don't know. I don't know how they do it. The Chiefs had them dead to rights. They lost to the freaking Jets of all people this year. Like, I hate saying this, but they're getting lucky, but I mean they're finding ways to win. So it's just I need the Niners to pull this off. The Niners are starting to get it put back together here after that 3-game skid. They're in Philadelphia, which scares me a little bit, but we just need to lock it in and take care of business. And then I'm going to go with my underdog here. None of the underdogs in the NFL really were that great. This really wasn't that great of a week, I think, for underdogs. But I took the Browns money line at plus 152. The AFC, just for the fact that the AFC North is just destroying the NFC West this year, I think they're 9-2 against the conferences are like the AFC North record against the NFC West this year. The Browns defense still great. I know the Rams their offense is starting to turn it on these past few weeks. Matthew Stafford's actually looking really good, but the AFC North just heads the NFC West number this year, so I'm going to take a chance and see if the Browns can win it at plus 152.
I like that underdog pick. I mean, you got to think that Browns defense, Myles Garrett going up against that Rams offensive line. I mean, Stafford has always been really, really good, but he's also always been a guy who's, willing to turn the ball over a little bit.
Yeah.
So you get pressure on him, you get good coverage. There could be a couple of turnovers here, and I think that sets the Browns up, even with a less than functional offense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Browns are just a tough, gritty team. I think they're just tougher than the Rams.
Yeah.
I like that Niners pick a lot.
They have to do it.
Yeah. Niners are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're about to see. Yeah, I think this is the game that decides that right now. Because I think they'll meet again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sure. They're on a collision course, and I don't think any other team in the NFC really does much to stop either of them.
Yeah.
No.
For what
The
it's worth,
Eagles-
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I just think the Niners get them now, and I think the Eagles will get them in the playoffs.
I would hate for that to happen, but I could see that. I also could see the Eagles going out their first playoff. Like, they'll get the 1 seed, I think. I could see them that first game in the playoffs, they could go down.
To who? Who's beating the Eagles in the
But
NFC?
a lot of their wins are not like blowouts. They're winning some close games. I think they could just get a surprise game in the playoffs. Is all I'm
Can't
saying.
wait to see the Falcons go into Philadelphia and bounce the Eagles or
Well,
the
It'll
Seahawks.
be the Vikings.
To be fair,
or-
though, I think it'll be Dallas. Dallas will
They could-
probably be.
Dallas in the playoffs
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
I don't know because if the Eagles have the Cowboys and Eagles played twice this year yet?
I think
They've only played just once.
I think only once.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Because if they
So-
beat Dallas twice in the regular season,
Yeah.
You don't want to play a team a third time.
No. That's what happened to the freaking Niners on the Rams Super Bowl run 2 years ago. We beat the Rams twice in the regular season and freaking lost them in the playoffs.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
It is in 1 year.
It's easier when you dominate the trenches, though, and the Eagles definitely do.
Yeah.
Trench play
Yeah.
always travels.
The Niners and Eagles game should have been Sunday night. They should have been able to flex that.
Why didn't they flex it? Yeah.
I have
What
no
is the
idea.
Sunday night game?
Probably freaking
Packers and
The Jets
Chiefs.
and
yeah. It's probably like the Jets and freaking who else have we seen 30,000 times? The Bears.
It's Jordan Love versus Patrick Mahomes, the matchup we've all been waiting for.
Right. It's I was going to say, I thought it was the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Accurate. Yeah.
Does Aaron Rodgers come back?
No. Aaron Rodgers comes back just enough to get hurt again because he was never really healthy. And he says, oh, I can't play next year either. Guess I'm just going to have to take this $30 million to the bank and not play.
Why not?
Yeah. I don't think he has any real interest in playing for the Jets.
Yeah,
All right, sorry.
Rodgers isn't coming back this year. I mean, the Jets would have to
there's
win.
no way.
Like they'd have to win they'd have to win their next 2 for it to even be worth it for him to come back.
And even if he does come back at that point, there's still like 6 and
They'd be 6 and 7 if they win
6
their
and
next
7,
2.
6 and 8. That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Just
All right. I'll get in my NFL picks here. After being terribly let down by the Lions on Thanksgiving, like everyone told me I would be.
Hold on. Okay,
but I-
hold
I
on. Hold
believed
on.
in them
Hold on.
anyway.
We gotta say we knew it was coming. JT,
I know,
we
you
knew
guys
it was
told
coming.
me.
We
Well,
tried to warn you.
We all picked the Lions.
I did it. I did not pick. I picked the over.
See, yeah, JT and I both picked it. And then we saw Jake's picks, and we're like, well, we're not.
Yeah, it's over. It's never been more over.
It was obvious.
I mean, all the logic says the Lions would win that game.
Yeah.
It's like they're 8-2, Packers are like 3-7.
Yeah.
You know, at Detroit, and
They
of
got-
course, you know they turn the ball over 6 times and get annihilated.
That was brutal. That is the worst game they've played this year by far.
Oh, easily. And they've had some bad ones. I know they got crushed by the Ravens, but the Ravens are really good and the Packers
Okay.
aren't.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to
Sorry.
them just one more time. And if,
Oh my
if they let me down
gosh.
again, they're on the banned list. They're done. They're cooked. Lions -4.5 is my lock versus the Saints. The Saints aren't good. The Saints are bad. And they're bad and hurt. They're going to be possibly missing their top 3 receivers in this game: Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and that really fast guy whose name I can't remember, but I know he's got like a leg injury.
Raheem Shaheed.
Shaheed, yeah. So their top 3 receivers could miss this game. Marshawn Lattimore's on the IR. Derek Carr isn't good when healthy, and I don't know that he's 100% healthy. This is a game the Lions should just destroy the Saints, and if they don't, they're dead to me. They're not winning a playoff game. They're not winning the NFC North. I will pick the Bears to win the NFC North. I do not care. The Lions are dead to me if they lose this game.
Is it even possible statistically?
No.
I don't know. Probably not. But it'll still happen because the Lions are dead.
This is
Well,
everything about this game, like all those receivers being out. This is a game where
yeah.
Carr feeds Taysom Hill and
This is
Foster
the
Moreau.
Taysom
Like,
Hill game.
This is the ultimate Taysom Hill game.
yeah.
I'm so prepared for it because the Lions have let me down so many times in my life. That's what they do.
Taysom Hill's about to look like Christian McCaffrey.
But I have to go with my brand. The Lions are much better.
We're about to see a career game.
yeah.
Gosh, part of me wants it just so I can flush this Lions team and just go
6
back
touchdown
to
game
hating
for
them.
Taysom Hill.
No, I think they'll be fine, JT.
That'll hit.
Logically,
yeah.
they should, but this is the
Logically, they
Lions.
That'll
should.
hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Jake says it, then I believe it.
It'll hit.
Yeah.
And then my underdog for the NFL, I'm going with the Cardinals plus 5.5. I never feel comfortable picking a bad team like the Cardinals, but The Steelers are also a bad team, even though they have a winning record. They've been outgained in, I think, every game this season, with maybe the last one, and they lost the last one. So, as good as their record looks, they could also be very bad. And it's starting to get dysfunctional in Pittsburgh. Did you guys see the clip of Deontay Johnson pretending to block a corner, and then the ball was fumbled right next to him, and he just didn't even move?
Yeah.
No, I missed that.
I know they replayed that in the film room over and over again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like things are, just kind of from an outside perspective, things are starting to get pretty rocky in Pittsburgh inside that locker room. And you got a Cardinals team that's been fighting, and they've been in games all season. They got Kyler Murray back, who's by far the better quarterback in this game. I'll take the 5.5. I mean, the Steelers might eke out a win, but I don't feel good betting on the Steelers ever. Not with the way they're playing this year.
I don't know. I got some confidence in them watching them last weekend because they but they had like 400 plus yards for offense, which I haven't had in forever.
And
but
they still lost to the
they
Bengals.
they
who's
beat
their
the
quarterback?
Bengals. They beat the Bengals.
Did they? I thought they lost.
Barely.
Barely.
They beat them. I think it was 16
to 10.
Or 16-10, yeah.
And their quarterback is Jake Browning.
Yeah, true.
Gosh, that's
but-
brutal. I thought they
Yeah,
lost last week.
No, they won. The
Yeah,
Cardinals are a
16-10,
lot better
you're
with
right.
Kyler Murray, so
Gosh, that's so brutal.
I wish you luck with that Cardinals pick. I've gotten burned by them at least 2 or 3 times this year.
yeah, I got burnt by him twice in the beginning of our starting this podcast, and I stopped betting on them.
I don't
I
feel
think-
great about it. I don't.
They were my only loss last week.
Yeah,
I took them like 2 weeks ago against the Texans, and it was like the same spread, but that hit, so maybe
5.5. That's a
Yeah.
tricky number.
Yeah.
All right. So for my lock this week, I'm gonna go with the Chargers at -6 against New England. The Chargers are having the most typical Chargers year ever. It's just been, as a Raiders fan, it's been very fun to watch. But they're playing the Patriots this week, and the Patriots are just really not good at football. The Chargers, I think they're better than their record says, not that much, but they've lost a lot of close games. They've shown the ability to blow out some bad teams before. They blew out the Jets a couple weeks ago, who had a much better defense than New England. And at -6, if they can just win by a touchdown and an extra point, they'll cover. So I feel pretty confident about that. And then I apologize, Casey, but I am taking the Eagles money line at +130 for my underdog. They have home field advantage. They're 10-1, and they find ways to win games. I think this can be very close, and I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers won this. But if we both lose,
there's room for it, and it has happened twice on this show.
they would
so
have
far.
to. They would have to win by like what, 1?
1 point.
Yeah.
No, 2 points.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I didn't really like a lot of the other underdogs this week. But I think +130 is pretty decent odds for this game. It's going to be close no matter what. So
I agree. I get it.
Betting on the Chargers. Oof, that's
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
it's an adventure. Let me
It
tell you.
is. You do not know what Chargers team you're going to
You don't know because I imagine to go inside the mind of Brandon Staley would be a very scary, dark thing. I just thought, as I said it, JT's eyes just got big. Just imagining the pure terror.
I hope he can beat the Patriots by 7. I really.
If not,
If he can't, he needs to be fired not tomorrow,
I think if
but
they
the
drop
day
that,
after the game.
that's it.
Well, let's not forget Bill Belichick is apparently the hottest coaching commodity on the market right now. He's going to scheme up a winner here.
Yeah.
That comment is dripping with sarcasm.
But hold on.
What do you think
What's
happens
this-
to him at the end of the year? Do you think he's getting fired?
No.
Who, Belichick?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've heard from I don't know how but just people on Twitter, I've seen people bring it up.
Now, Belichick, I think Belichick's pretty much going to be there as long as he wants to be.
Yeah.
I think he's, you win 6 rings, like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
This feels like one of those classic, like, Bill, we're asking you to retire. We have this cushy front office job for you, which you will do nothing for, and we will still pay you. We just can't have you coaching this team anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to just blow everything up there and start from scratch.
I feel like we're going to see a mutual agreement to part ways this offseason.
Now, I will say, though, Jake, you said you got 6.5 for that Chargers game, or 6 for that Chargers game.
6, yeah.
As awful as the Patriots are, they play close games. Like, they're never, really getting blown out. Like, they keep it close. So that scares me a little bit.
The Chargers do have a pretty bad defense, but, I mean, they're playing Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, so.
True.
Probably the worst, maybe the worst 2 starting QBs in the league.
I'd still probably go Zappi over Mac, but
I would too.
Yeah. All right. I'll wrap things up with my NFL picks. For my lock this week, I'm going to take probably the most unwatchable game this week. Colts Titans under 34 at -115. That's my lock this week. This is just some boring, gross AFC South football. It's gonna be terrible to watch. The Colts defense is still pretty solid. They'll shut down the Titans. And on the other side of the ball, Tennessee's got a decent defense, and it's good enough to stop Gardner Minshew. I mean, that's not saying much, but yeah, especially now with Jonathan Taylor being out for this week. I know Zach Moss played great in his absence earlier, but again, I don't think it's going to be enough to run up a high-scoring game. It's still going to be a run fest. I don't see either team getting to 20 in this one. I like the under, and I think the fact that it's -115 tells you they can't. For an under that low, to have it even like having the odds even lowered a little bit like that to -115 tells you the bookies like they don't know what to do with the total for this. Like they're trying to make it as low as they can, as low as and undesirable to bet as possible. But it's free money. And then for my underdog pick this week, I'm taking a surprisingly intriguing game. I think a month ago, if anyone would have said we have a big matchup for a playoff spot between the Broncos and the Texans, if you'd have said that a month ago, you'd thought I was crazy. But here we are. They're both 6-5, and I'm taking the Broncos money line at +160 in Houston. Denver looks great. They are just playing really well as of late. And it's hard to pick against them, especially against the Texans team that still feels like they're overperforming. And I do think, the Texans are a very young team. I think that rookie wall is going to set in for a few of their guys very soon. I think we're hitting that point in the season. I do think they're going to slow down. At worst, this game's a toss-up. And so I'll take +160 in a 50-50 game every time.
I like it.
Yeah, I like future MVP CJ Stroud in that game. He'll be offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, easily.
I'm telling you, man, I think he can be MVP this year. Depending on how these last few games go.
He's got a chance. The MVP race is pretty horrible.
It is. Yeah. And, to take the Texans and make them, competing this late in the season, that's pretty good. He's very valuable to his team.
Yeah. At this point, I think it's McCaffrey, though. I think he's carrying that Niners offense.
Don't Don't disrespect Brock Purdy like that right now.
I knew he was going to say something.
Don't disrespect Brock Purdy like that
Come
now.
on. Who was it? There was some pundit that said, I think it was, I saw the bottom line of it. I didn't actually hear him say it, but I think Michael Lombardi on the Pat McAfee show yesterday tried to say that Brock Purdy was the MVP.
So they all say that, dude. Besides Stephen A. Hates Brock. Well, he doesn't.
I
hate
don't
Brock Purdy,
understand that at
but
all.
Stephen A. sees Brock Purdy for who he is, and all the other media personalities are like, Brock Purdy is just so and so in this era or whatever. Like, I don't know.
He's not even having that great of a year, is he?
No, he's having a pretty good year. It's
okay. It's
he's
solid.
he's one of the top guys in completion percentage, QBR. Granted, his team around him, but
Yeah, I think McCaffrey, it's really easy to have a high completion percentage when you have McCaffrey leaking out of the backfield.
yeah, and Brandon Ayuk just running and getting open somehow.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question, and I want to be honest with it.
Okay.
Does Brock Purdy do anything that Baker Mayfield can't do? Like, is Baker Mayfield a better quarterback if you switch their positions, switch their situation?
That's tricky.
I think that hesitation is all we need to know about Brock Purdy.
Well, I would say this. I think
Accuracy, maybe.
if we were to
Maybe.
switch their teams right now, and they had their experiences that they did, I would still probably rather have Brock Purdy on the 49ers, only because he's still moldable, and I think Shanahan can still work with him and make him what Shanahan, he's going to be Shanahan's Frankenstein, where Baker Mayfield's a seasoned vet. He's stuck in his ways. So
Yeah.
I don't think it'll work out, but
if we put Purdy on the Bucks,
well, that's
I
what I'm
think the Bucks
saying.
would be objectively worse.
I would
Yes.
take Baker on the Bucks.
Yes,
But
that's what I'm saying.
I think Baker is not consistent enough for the Niners offense. That's what I'll say. There's just too much volatility to Baker's game.
Yeah.
And he has gotten that under control this year. But I'm just not sure.
It's funny because it's a similar style offense.
It is.
It is, but I don't know. I think Baker has the ability to go to multiple different teams and perform, where Brock Purdy
He's got
only
to be
has the
worried.
Niners. Yes.
Well, I mean, it's like Jimmy Garoppolo. Look what
Yeah.
happened as soon as you took Jimmy Garoppolo out of that offense.
Yeah. So
He is horrible.
Props to the Niners, though, for replacing Jimmy Garoppolo with Jimmy Garoppolo and using the last pick in the draft to do it.
yep. Just
that's
a younger, more athletic Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's good front office work right there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
You know, it's not betting your entire coaching career on Jimmy Garoppolo. Like Josh.
And Brian Hoyer.
Yeah. Well, we see where that led him. So
And he was so adamant to get Derek Carr out the door. And Derek Carr is not very good, don't get me wrong, but to replace him with
I like the
Jimmy
moving
Garoppolo
on from
makes him
Carr
look like Joe
idea.
Montana.
But
the idea was good. The replacement was bad.
But if his whole plan was to get rid of Carr for Garoppolo, then
Allegedly, Mark Davis was convinced that they could get Brady out of retirement.
Yeah.
Allegedly. And then
That's a bad
didn't
plan,
happen.
too, because Brady was wild.
And then he got
why would Brady go to the Raiders?
I mean,
Because of McDaniels? Why?
he owns
though?
that was part of why I think he hired
Adams.
McDaniels.
Yeah.
Was because he thought he might be able to.
So Mark Davis was just trying to sell tickets.
No, Mark Davis just doesn't understand how football works. It's
Like
just
Tom
pretty-
Brady will be 65. He's like, yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Throw him on there.
Mark
Brady's
Davis
a partial
isn't
owner
great.
of the Raiders. He can just walk in and play whenever. He's like Michael
Yeah.
Jordan.
That never actually went through. I don't
Did
think.
it not? Oh, that makes
Oh,
sense.
really?
No.
I wanted that.
They tried to give him like too much of a discount or something. I
Yeah.
think.
And also, he would not have been able to play. And I think Mark Davis wanted to keep that door open, which I don't get.
Player coach.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
All right. So, anytime touchdown score parlay did not hit last week. This one I think has some good legs to it. Obviously, I won't have the odds for it just yet, but I will get the probably like I'll try to get it on Saturday afternoon. I don't think we have any guys playing for Thursday night game. So I'll try to get that out Saturday afternoon before the big college football game starts and before Sunday slate starts. But I'm going to take Travis Kelce. He didn't score last week. He's due. He needs this. I don't know. I think he's in his head right now. I just don't get it. I mean, I know all this media crap whirlwind going on, but like he just doesn't like. He's still putting up numbers this year, but he just doesn't seem like Travis Kelce as a best. So I think he needs to get back. I think he'll find the end zone this weekend and try to lock in for this playoff push. You had Christian McCaffrey.
That was me. I mean, he scores just about every week,
Yeah.
and they're gonna need him for this big game. It's just an easy one. We gotta get this. We gotta get this parlay to
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah. All right. JT.
Even I'm going mainstream this week. I'm going with Mike Evans. Second in the NFL in receiving touchdowns. Last time he played the Carolina Panthers, he went off for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Okay. Yep.
I'm going Mike Evans.
Yep. I like it.
All right. And then to round this out, I'm going to go with Austin Eckler this week. Compared to his last 2 seasons, he's been about just as productive, but he has only 4 touchdowns this year. He hasn't scored the last 2 weeks. He's playing a very bad defense. I like Austin Eckler this week.
Yeah.
Well, shit. If this doesn't hit,
If this doesn't hit, dude, then we're doomed.
What are we
But
gonna
we'll try again next week. That's what we're gonna do.
what are the odds on this? Like plus 30?
Yeah, it's like,
You're going to win 70 cents on this bet.
yeah, you're gonna bet 10 and win $1. So I'll get this up. It's probably gonna I don't know if it'll break plus 1,000. I don't know.
Let me see.
We'll
That's
see.
okay. I've got a big parlay that'll balance the scales here a little
Yeah.
bit with the odds.
You want to go ahead? Do you have it now?
Yeah, I'll go first, and then you can do your
Yeah, go ahead.
your parlay you got cooking.
Yeah.
So I've got a championship day parlay, and it's a big one. It's 7 legs. So follow this one at your own risk. But I'm going with a lot of favorites because I like a lot of the favorites in championship games. I'm going Liberty minus 10.5 versus New Mexico State. I'm going Oregon money line. So good odds there. I'm going Texas minus 14.5. I'm going Toledo minus 7.5 against a Miami team who's playing a backup quarterback. I have App State plus 5.5. I have Michigan minus 22.5. And I have Louisville plus 2.5. 7-leg parlay. Odds are plus 63.25. So if you bet $15.15, you're winning $1,000 back in return.
All right. I see your 63.25, and I raise you a 66.25.
Let's do it. I like it.
This one is this is for all those sickos out there that really want to see Ohio State in the playoffs this year.
Which is no one outside of Ohio.
Okay, chill out, JT. There's a lot of us still out here that want to see this. But, yeah, so this is the road to how Ohio State still makes the playoffs. So follow this at your own risk because it is a doozy of a parlay. So Washington money line over Oregon, that alone's at plus 285. I really think that late could hit. Oklahoma State money line over Texas at plus 440 alone. All right, now that one is scary. So we're going to have to buckle in for that one. So and then I have Georgia money line over Bama. That's at minus 215. I have the Michigan money line over Iowa. That's at minus 4,500. That one really hurt this parlay, but I had to put it in there. And then I have Louisville money line over FSU at plus 116 for a grand total if you parlay all that at plus 6,625. And that's how Ohio State gets back in.
So you need the 1, 2, and 3 teams to all win, and the 4, 5, and 7 teams to all lose. Even if that
Yes.
happens, does Ohio State still get in? Do we think
Yes.
that's how it play?
Yes.
What about
Yes.
Louisville? Could Louisville jump them as the
No,
ACC
they-
champion? Because they lost last week.
Yeah, they have 2 losses. They lost to a crappy UK team. Dalton, I
If-
see you smirking down there. So what do you have to say?
No, I'm just thinking about now, like just all the different paths. Because now I'm trying to put together. I'm like,
Your own little parlay.
Hear me out.
I'm
Okay.
creating. I'm trying to see if there's a path for Alabama right now. Honestly,
There's an easy path for Alabama.
Yeah.
Beat Georgia.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is.
I think if
Because-
they beat Georgia, they're in.
Well, if they beat Georgia and say Michigan wins, Washington wins, Florida State and Texas wins,
yes,
Georgia and
that's
Alabama
what I
aren't getting
want.
in either of those 4. There's
Well,
no SEC.
They'll need some
involved.
help even if they beat
No
Georgia.
SEC scenario. Does it exist?
Yes, 3 undefeated
No
teams.
SEC.
No,
And then
that's not
the
it.
Texas team that beat Alabama in the regular season and is also a conference champion. You can't leave out 2 conference champions with the same amount of losses as Georgia in favor of a non-conference champion Georgia.
Yeah, but money.
I know.
But
It would
money.
just be
Do you
stupid.
think they're gonna let a college playoff go by without an SEC team?
Heck, just put LSU in. Just put, that would be fun.
They would.
Brian Kelly.
They probably would put LSU in over like a one-loss
Put
team.
Florida State and Texas, and you can still probably get the South to watch.
Texas is essentially an SEC school now.
Yeah,
They'll
although
watch. Yeah. They'll watch.
Yeah,
Dirty
SEC.
South. the dirty
SEC
South might not watch.
Yeah. No.
Paul Feinbaum's head would explode, which is all the more reason to root for it. An even better scenario, Liberty gets in, undefeated conference champion. Make it happen.
Are they undefeated?
Yeah.
But I mean, Conference USA is worse than most FCS conferences.
I was about to say, like,
I mean, it's
I cannot
an
wait.
average
for
FCS conference.
Do you remember like 2 years ago when Cincinnati got in? And I think it was Kirk Herbstreit who said, "See, the little teams can get in too. You guys said it was impossible. This is why the system works." And here we are 2 years later, undefeated team, and
Yeah.
they're like 20 spots behind the playoffs.
Well, Conference USA got absolutely raided the last couple of years, and it was already
Yeah.
not a great conference to begin with. But like right now, Conference USA is Liberty, New Mexico State, Jacksonville State, which is brand new to FBS, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, Sam Houston, a new FBS team, UTEP, and FIU.
How
Yeah.
did Middle Tennessee get stuck in that terrible conference?
I don't know. I don't know why they
Ooh.
didn't move with like
bad.
Ooh.
they should have moved with like UC
That
and all them when
stinks.
they went to the American Conference or whatever it is.
I mean, the next best team in that conference right now is New Mexico State. I mean that
Yeah.
although they did just they're the
Respect
ones
the Aggies.
I was gonna say, didn't they
Yeah,
just have a big like upset?
Yeah, they well, I mean it was Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean that's an
Blew out
SEC
Texas
school.
A&M.
Yeah,
They ran Jimbo Fisher out of town.
good. Now that's a man we should all be like jealous of, Jimbo Fisher. He literally just got paid a bag to not do his job anymore.
Yeah. He's just got to go somewhere else for a year and get fired and then get paid by another team. Pull the full Charlie Weiss.
Yeah,
Would be Ohio
Mark's.
State.
No, chill out. I do not want him.
No, I want Ryan Day to stay as long as he can.
I think Charlie Weiss at one point was getting paid by, I think 3 teams. I think at one point he was getting paid in buyout money by like Kansas, an NFL team, Maybe Notre Dame still.
I was up to say he probably was. Like, I distinctly remember, like, there was like a 5 or 6 year span where he was at every, like, I don't know.
It's
He
hard to
didn't
get
get
fired that often, to where you can like still be getting paid from 3 different places. You got to get fired 3 times like very quickly.
Yeah.
In the NFL, those contracts are all fully guaranteed, and in college now, pretty much the standard for big time coaches and big time programs is like 10 years, $9 million a year.
Yeah.
That's like the standard, which mind blowing.
Well, they almost had Mark Stoops. I think the Kentucky fan base like blew that up before it was official, and then it kind of just like blew the deal up because I really think he was going to go there.
Yeah, I don't know. Is at this point with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, is Texas A&M really a better job than Kentucky right now?
Yeah,
just because of the money, the booster
I
money.
was going to say that you get so much more, so many more assets and stuff in Texas A&M than you would at Kentucky.
Yeah, but it would to build the recruitment that the recruiting momentum that he has at Kentucky. I think it'd take him years to rebuild that at A&M.
Yeah. Kentucky's a basketball school, though. Football gets put on the back burner.
But they're also the best program around in that area for miles, for hundreds of miles. They're the best around in college football.
Well, Ohio State was just like 300 miles north. That's the best team in the nation.
Boy.
Yeah.
I like how I was like about to agree with you.
No, you agreed. You agreed. I heard you say, yeah.
No.
You were like, yeah. You agreed.
You almost had me. Almost. Oh, man.
All right. Anyone else have any lottery ticket parlays that they want to give out?
The no SEC path, for what it's worth.
Hold on. Did that bet work out for you last weekend?
Which one?
Oh,
I think Dalton was betting on the SEC or something when he said he wasn't going
Oh,
to.
no, I bet on the I don't even think they covered. I don't even think they covered the spread. They got blown out. Yeah.
So you got burned again. We told you not to, and you got burned.
Broke the band.
I mean, it didn't matter. That was part of a parlay that was already long dead before that game.
That was the Egg Bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the Packers killed that parlay at noon.
They killed your parlay, so you're like, I'm just going to double down.
Well, then
I said I wouldn't bet on.
Yeah, then I bet the money line on that, and yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
But no, the no SEC scenario is plus 2040.
Okay, so what is it? What's the no SEC scenario?
State wins, Texas wins, Michigan wins, Washington wins, and Alabama wins.
I think if Alabama wins, they're in.
They can't get in over Texas because Texas beat them head to head.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, but like we know that the committee doesn't care, bro. They know that they're biased.
They put Cincinnati in over Notre Dame 2 years ago because Cincinnati beat Notre Dame head to head. And if they can put Cincinnati in, they can put in a Power 5 school.
Yeah, I don't know. Notre Dame's had their chances, and Notre Dame gets.
And they're itching to put Texas in the playoff.
Texas is so.
Texas hasn't even been in it yet.
Yeah.
Just wait until we have an 18 playoff, and then we're going to be talking about a ton.
Well, 12 next year.
Yeah, it's 12.
Oh, it's 12?
And an automatic group of 5 spot.
Yeah.
Telling you, James Madison's getting that group of 5 spot next year. Calling it right now.
I don't know. They might have soiled themselves with that loss against App State.
They're getting that spot next year. They're gonna run the table next year is like their revenge season.
All right, we'll see. That's gonna be your future for next year, then.
Yep, James
All right.
Madison.
Okay.
Wow.
As soon as that's available, I'm gonna let you know so you can mark it
Oh, I'm going to.
make the playoffs. Okay.
I'm going to be so mad when 2 group of 5 teams are undefeated and one of them gets left out for no reason over like a 4-loss SEC team.
Oh yeah, that's when we're gonna start.
They only have to get to 13. They only have to get to like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Liberty's undefeated and they're 20.
Well,
Yeah,
again,
but it's
Conference USA.
Conference USA.
Conference USA.
I know, but if you get like an undefeated MAC team and like a Sun Belt team and they're both hovering around like 18, 20.
I'd rather have an undefeated MAC team than undefeated. No, I'm not going to say that.
I'd rather have that than like a 4-loss Auburn.
I think they would put.
I don't know.
two, man.
Yeah, it could happen.
12 is a lot of teams. There's
Yeah.
you can get 2 smaller schools in there.
But
Yeah.
I also don't think group of 5 teams are really going to. I mean, those conferences are getting worse and worse every year.
Yeah.
That's the
They
only.
are. The super conferences are expanding, and then the conferences they left in the dust are raiding the little conferences.
That's
to
what
keep
happened
themselves
to-
alive.
Like, I mean, I think the AAC is adding Charlotte next year. The AAC went from they had about 2 years where they were like it looked like it was Power 6, and all of a sudden they're adding FCS schools to fill out the conference because they got raided.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watch it, but I watched Kirk Herbstreit, a part of my take today, and he was talking about how to fix this, they have to basically create the NFL in the NCAA. Like they have to get away from the NCAA and create their own little like players association.
That's what the Big 12, Big 10 and SEC are going to do that.
And they were the way he was talking, like he was just explaining. I was like, you just literally like outlined the NFL. It's the NFL with a G League, basically, with your smaller schools.
I think fixing it is kind of easy, actually. Just put all conference championships in the playoffs and then fill it out with like 4 or 5 wild cards, whatever's left. So I mean, you get your 1 or 2 loss teams in, and you don't have to get those 4-loss Big Ten teams.
I've
Yeah,
been saying it for
That's
years.
what they do in the FCS.
Playoff.
is that what they do in the FCS?
Yeah, it's every conference. If you win they don't have conference championship games, but if you like win your conference, then you get an automatic spot, and then they just fill the rest out with.
And that deters people from wanting to join the super conference. Like, okay, you can go to the SEC that has 8 teams that are better than you, or you could stay here in the Pac-12 and possibly win the division every year.
And that's how literally every other level of college football does it. Every other sport in the NCAA does it that way, pretty much.
Yeah, but how many conferences are there in the NCAA per?
Well, like for basketball, they let pretty much every conference champion in, don't they? Other than like a couple like really small conferences.
I think they let them all. I think as long as you win either the tournament or the regular season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little ones, it's the tournament, and then most of them, it's conference championships, the mid-majors.
I think there's 11 conferences. So
I'm counting 7. Let's see.
am I doing this wrong?
In basketball?
In college football.
Oh,
In FBS,
So let's say Liberty wins their conference.
yeah.
Washington, Texas, Georgia, Tulane, Michigan, Florida State. That's 7.
Think about how great it'd be for recruiting for those programs. Like Liberty, you get to play Georgia in the first round.
Yeah, everyone wants that. Like, you don't think like Kalamazoo, Michigan would go crazy if Western got a chance to get obliterated by Georgia?
Yeah.
dude, there's 11 conferences that would pull from. Are we talking all of FBS, or just?
Yeah, I was
Because
just looking at
Oh, I only have my top 25 on. That's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's the AAC, the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, Conference USA, and then your FBS independents like Notre Dame.
They don't get in. They're not in a conference.
They can be the independent conference. They
Yeah,
can
form
be
a real
exactly-
conference and we'll talk.
Yeah. The MAC, Mountain West, Pac-12, SEC, Sun Belt, and that's it. And then you'd get one wild card team, I guess.
But 11. So if we bump it up to 16, so you get 5 wildcard teams.
Are they bumping it up again after 12?
They probably will eventually. I mean, the whole system's flawed now that they rearranged all the divisions and conferences.
Yeah. I mean, I think 12 is probably gonna. I think 12 will hold up long enough until they, until eventually, like I said, eventually we're gonna get 2 20-team super conference, 20 to 24 team conferences with Big Ten and SEC, and they're gonna break away.
And I don't want that. I want all the division winners and give me the 5 wild cards.
Yeah,
That way you still get Oregon, you still get Alabama, you still get Penn State. All these teams that are really good and deserve, to be in that conversation, you still get all of them, and then you get every conference champion.
we all want that, but
it makes too much
doesn't
sense.
matter. It doesn't matter because money.
The money won't allow it.
Yeah.
Stupid college football.
Yep.
I hate you and I love you so much at the same time.
They want to
It's
funnel
disgusting.
that TV revenue down to as few schools as possible.
Yep.
This is gonna be the last Pac-12 game ever on Friday.
Oh, and it's going to be a good one too.
I'm gonna miss the Pac-12.
I'm kind of glad it's going out on this game. It is a good game.
It is.
So many nights when I was younger where it'd be like 11 at night and there's just Stanford and like Arizona State playing or something.
Yeah.
Pac-12 after dark. RIP. One more go.
Yeah.
Gonna miss it.
It is. Yeah. It's going to be Pac-12 after dark.
That'll be Mountain West after dark.
Yeah. It'll definitely be Mountain West after dark.
Did they ever figure out what's happening with that? Is like our Oregon State and
I think I saw an article the other day where it said they got offered to keep playing in the conference or
They're
something.
just gonna
like
play
that.
each other for 12 weeks.
Yeah. I don't know how it was gonna work out, but I think the conference reached out to them and you guys can still stay if you want. But it's like what?
Yeah, I think they probably will just join the Mountain West.
that
Yeah.
would be my guess.
Or the Mountain West.
I don't see
join
another.
them.
Can you just claim independence, I guess?
I think they just
They
need
could
to
be independents.
rebrand it, bring back the whack,
Yeah.
bring back the whack.
Who's left? Is it Arizona State? Are they still Pac-12?
They're
they're
both
Big 12.
big. Yeah,
Big 12. Cal.
so weird.
Al and Stanford are
ACC.
going to the ACC.
Why does the ACC even want those two?
Yeah, they needed somewhere to go.
You get to be in the Bay Area market. That's the only reason. That's all conference realignment is about. It's not about rivalries. It's not about geography. It's about how many major television markets can we put our conference in. That's all.
Imagine when Ohio State and USC or Michigan and USC play at freaking the Coliseum.
Yeah, but those are good teams. I mean, no one wants Cal.
What about the smaller sports like swimmers or something that
Dead.
have to go, swimmers at Stanford would have to go to the East Coast
Yeah.
multiple times.
They'll just meet at the Mississippi River and swim the whole way.
For everything except football, it is so
Crazy.
illogical. It doesn't
I
make
know.
any. Even with football, it still doesn't make any sense. But
No. Even basketball's even towing the line.
Stanford and
You're gonna go-
Clemson is about to be a conference matchup. That is just so strange.
They're talking about to reduce the amount of travel, have those teams play several games in
While
one
they're out
area
there.
at once. But so what these student athletes are going to be just on the road for 3 weeks straight, because that's conducive to an education.
Good luck doing that in December or April or May when finals are.
They're all basically going to be taking all online classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardell Jones said it best. I didn't come here to play school.
They did not. They did not come here to play school.
All right. I'm going for an hour 5. I think we worked.
We're off the rails at this point.
Yeah. We're going to start getting into the theories. We didn't even bring up Aaron Rodgers coming back, but or did we?
I think we.
Yeah, we touched on it.
Yeah. Just saw him on Twitter here. But we'll go ahead and end the show. We appreciate you guys watching, whoever stuck around this late and listened to us ramble for the past 15 minutes. We appreciate that. Let us know if you follow our bets. Let me know if you followed that Ohio State path to the playoffs bet. I know it's a little bit of a crazy one, but just trust me on this one. It's going to hit. It's the football gods want Ohio State in the playoffs to play Michigan again. So they'll make it. And then I know JT had a crazy 7-leg parlay that was plus 63.25. So plenty of chances to make some money. And I'll have the touchdown parlay out on Saturday in the afternoon time, sometime in the Eastern Standard Time, so around noon probably. We'll have that out. But we appreciate you guys watching. Comment if you follow our bets, comments on any bets you want us to follow, any feedback for the show. We appreciate that. Hopefully you have a great weekend betting. Let us see those winning slips, and good luck.